BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello and welcome to this here episode of BRB UK 477. It's a very kind of dimmed down version of the intro as my throat is killing me because I thought I had corona. I don't. I'm just getting poorly sick.
Good.
Not sure what. Assuming it's
Not
a cold.
good that you're ill.
Might be the flu. We'll see how that progresses as the week goes on. Anyway, I am Coleman. Hi! Dan is not here. He's off in the forest looking for jazz mags. But we do still have Tim.
Hello.
Break glass in case of emergency, and out pops, here he comes. It's Bleezey.
I believe it's called Kevin now, so...
Oh, it's Kevin, sorry. Kevin Bleez. Oh dear.
Oh no. Hi.
How are you, Bleezey? We had you in to talk about Halo last time, and this time we've brought you in to talk about nothing. But since then, you've had Battlefield. Are you enjoying Battlefield? You really like Battlefield?
Yes, I am.
Yeah?
I am
Good.
playing Battlefield.
Good. Battlefield £20.42, I think it's called.
No, I switched back to Battlefield 5.
Oh.
You had to take me down immediately, didn't you? I was too happy.
That's okay. I think there's going to be a lot of self-deprecating stuff for three of us in this episode looking at the agenda going forward. But before we get to that point, there's a brand new game out this week. And if you listen to the predictions, the ones to watch this year, this is one of my top picks that didn't get cancelled. Thank you very much. Sifu is out. Finally.
Yes. I don't know how much you've played. I've only played a small portion, generally due to my weekly schedule being quite full of other things this week.
I've played a fair bit. I'll explain what the game is first before we talk about where we are in it.
Okay.
If you don't know, Sifu is from the developers, French studio called something.
Slow Clap.
But they're the guys... Thank you, Slow Clap. But they made Absolver, which we've spoken about on the show before, which the idea was a third-person beat-em-up kind of... a brawler, a kung fu brawler, but you could change your martial arts styles as you progressed. But also it had a kind of free roam path system, and it was multiplayer. So the idea was, the more you progress, you unlock combos, and then you take on bigger, badder bosses, and it's a little bit Dark Soulsy in that sense. However, as we discovered, if you just grab two of your friends and go in, you can all gang up on enemies and just kick the ever-loving stuffing out of them, and then that will help you progress through the game, instead of actually learning anything, just doing a bunch of trial and error until you get through the final boss, and then you can beat it in like a day or two. It's really fun. I think they've updated the hell out of it since we last played it, but there you go. That's Absolver. Sifu, taking away the multiplayer element and the open path system element, it's a multi-path system, linear, third-person beat-em-up that solely focuses on kung fu, or a form of kung fu. And the way this game, and the kind of, it has a roguelike element to it in that each time you die, you collect a death token, and each time, and however many death tokens you have at the point of death, you age when you come back to life by that many tokens. So I think you're 20 as the game starts out, and then the first time you die, you're then 21. The second time you die, you'll be 23 because you picked up an extra 2 tokens on top of that. And so on and so forth, and there are ways of knocking those tokens off, but there's no way of reversing your age. So your aim is to go through different levels and get to the end without hitting the age of around about 70, which your character will die, it will be game over, and you'll have to start again.
You can get over 70, I think, no? But
I died at 71. So I think it's as soon as you pass 70, your next death is the death.
No, it depends how high your multiplier is at that time. It's not a multiplier, but it's an addition, and it depends how high that number is at the time, because there's a certain age you can't go over, and if you're going over that age because of the number you're aging by, then you will not be able to progress, basically. But I swear I've been high 70s, or mid 70s at least.
This is the first I'm hearing of it, and it terrifies me.
I think aging terrifies you.
Yeah. There's a certain big number that's coming up, and that scares me.
Yeah, a bit unforgiving. And just for an example, Coleman, what age were you when you ended the first level for the first time?
For the first time, I think I was 42.
Yeah, I was 43, so...
Yeah, and then I went back and then I was like 30. Well, I got to the last boss, the boss of the first level, and I think I was 28. And then when I came out, I was again like 40, you know? So... it was a bit of trial and error to get through. And then I've realized that the more you play, because I thought what was happening is I was going through unlocking abilities and then because you can reset a level, replay a level and go back to that age you started that level at.
Yeah.
So I'm redoing the first level a lot. But I thought each time I restarted, I was keeping the abilities. And the way it works is you gain points and experience for combos, for taking people down, but then there's combo multipliers to earn even more. And then you use that experience to buy abilities, but it's abilities that you're using for your single run. However, if you then purchase that ability a further 5 times, so if you get an ability for 1,000 XP, then really you have to earn 6,000 XP. You can fully unlock it. So when you start again, you'll have that from the beginning. So what I'm now doing is I'm going through the first level and the second level and the third level a couple of times, building up XP until I unlock something permanently, starting again, and then doing this to kind of make it a little bit easier on myself, because there is no way I'm getting through this game. Like, I am dying at 70 by the third level each time.
Yeah, that's the thing. As I said, it's a little bit unforgiving. There's a lot to like about the game and some stuff that I really like, but I find some of the stuff a bit too frustrating, and I don't mind the combat being frustrating, especially at first, because that's something I think you'll slightly conquer as you get better at the game and as you add moves and other stuff kind of adds to the game and adds to your progression a bit. I feel that some of my frustration comes from the structure of the game not telling me about itself very well, which is really weird, because there's some elements that it really telegraphs very well, and it does present and do like in a really nice fashion. Like the prime example there is in the intro sequence where they're actually got the kind of credits of the game to start with. You play through and you have to play against, and it's a shadowy version of, I didn't notice until the second time I restarted the game, but it's a shadowy version of the bosses that you actually face at each end of the level, and it teaches you the skill you need to beat each one of those bosses as well.
Yes, and the idea is it's your character, because your character dies at the start as a child and then comes back to life, and it's like a revenge mission, and he's fantasizing about all the bosses that he's going to take down. So you're literally, as the game starts, you're taking down every single boss in the game before you then go through a level to fight them. And what I found was more of an issue, like, it explains everything, just not well.
Yes.
That's why it took me about five playthroughs to go, oh wait, none of my skills are staying on. Why is that? And then because it flashes up, but it's that bit doesn't spell it out to you enough, even though it does. So I don't know.
One thing that I didn't realise, maybe it's me. Yeah, one thing that I didn't realise that apparently is the case, but you know that counter you said where you've got to get 5 lots of them. If you reduce that counter in one run, in the next run, that counter will still be reduced. So say you reduced it down to 3 times. On your next run, it will still be at 3. So you can just unlock it once and then do it once more, 3 times more to unlock it permanently.
Okay. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. The frustrating thing I found was as you start the game, and it starts you off on like a little kind of bonusy. It starts you off as the bad guy. It does the Assassin's Creed thing. It makes you take down a bunch of people, and it presents it in a very easy way. You can't die in the intro, and then you're playing the actual protagonist. But when you're in that period, it kind of presents the game as it's a case of counter and then attack. And it feels very old school Assassin's Creed. And I went, I'm going to be awesome at this game. And then when you get to the first level as your protagonist, it's like, okay, and counter and attack. And it's like you do the counter and instead it's just like, I've been punched in the head. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong between this level and this level.
Someone's throwing a bottle at the back of my head, and then a really like run-of-the-mill enemy just punched me in the face, and now I'm dead. And now all of a sudden I'm 7 years older. Yeah. Oh my word! As I said, a bit unforgiving, and I don't mind some of that. The aging element is challenging in some ways, because especially after you get over a certain age, you can't learn new skills, which I quite like from a thematic standpoint, but it does make getting older even harder.
And the other thing is as well, the older you get, the more powerful you are, but the less defense you have. Yeah. So you're kind of like a glass cannon. You won't last very long, but you're likely to take more people down in that time. And then there's like bonuses that you can pick up throughout the point that you're doing your run that will reset no matter what at the end. So each time I'm constantly putting experience into weapon damage, because when you pick up a weapon, you feel badass in that game. And it doesn't matter.
Really
you can be picking up a lead pipe and bashing people about in that. Or my favorite early on, you can find a broom and just wield it as a bow staff and, doing the flip it, feel like kilking bloody Soul Calibur, it's got that kind of feeling to it. But yeah, it's got the potential to have, and I'm looking forward to properly getting into this game. I mean, I have put a lot of time into it already, but it's one of those games that's, you start playing and you go, oh yeah, I get this. I totally understand the appeal of this. But you know that after some effort, it's going to be one of those games, like when you play Tony Hawk's, everyone can understand Tony Hawk's. But then after like 100 hours of any Tony Hawk game, after 100 hours of any Tony Hawk game, you'll be pulling off these sick combos and just looking absolutely amazing in the game. And it's going to be that kind of case. There's going to be a point in this game where, it's things like, when you discover you can do something for the first time in this game, it's like, I can't wait to just let that be a natural thing that I'm going to do. I was in a fight with about 10 people in this wood workshop, and someone, everyone's got these bamboo canes and they're all beating you about, and you're avoiding and you're jumping over tables and stuff. Then all of a sudden someone threw a bottle at the back of my head and my character just went, wah, grabs it and then throws it at someone else. I went, I don't know how I did that, but I can't wait to learn how I did that and keep doing it.
Yeah, but it's kind of, it's very easy to go from, I am invincible, I just beat up this whole room of people with this one tiny weapon and did everyone, and then you turn around a corner and get beaten up by two people and die twice, and you're like, ah! But yeah, like, as I said, I kind of enjoy the challenge of it. I just feel that a few things, I like, for instance, is there a way to restart the game and play through the first level again without playing through the intro level as the bad guy again? Because I couldn't find a way of, like, without restarting the whole game.
If you do a new save and restart the whole game, then you have to do the tutorial each time. Mm-hmm. If you go to the level select and just pick the first level, you will go back to 20 and then start from that point.
I couldn't find a way of moving in the level select bit. Am I being stupid?
Okay.
Because I've had other people talk about it as well.
So you have like a home base where you look at your targets and pick your missions and all that kind of stuff. If you go to the window to select your mission, literally just go back to the warehouse level, and then that will take you back to being 20 years old.
Yeah, unless I'm being stupid. Like, literally, the only way I found to redo it was to restart the game. That's why I said about playing through the credits again for the second time. Because I don't know if something's broken.
Go to the window, level select, just keep going left.
It looks like there should be arrows going left and right there, but it won't let me go left and right. I can only go to the club, basically. I'm like, oh.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a very good game, very enjoyable. I can't remember how much this is, 20-something, or then you could pay a little bit more for the digital deluxe.
$34.99 and that's a discount. I think it's £40 altogether, which is a bit on the pricey side.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I think they ramped up the price when they saw how much interest there was, but...
Yeah, there was a discount, and it was the discount on the digital deluxe edition, and I went for that because it let you play a little bit early, and I wanted some time to get my head around it before the show, so I had the weekend to trial and error on this one as well. But now they've removed that early entry. There's no point in getting the digital deluxe version unless you really want the digital art book and the soundtrack, which, why do they bother doing this?
I think I got that and went, okay, there's things I won't ever look at. Thanks.
Exactly. I literally did, because I think with the discount, it was £2 more than the regular game to mean I could play it a couple of days early. And I went, well, I do want to play it on the weekend rather than the weekday, so I'll jump into it then. But yeah, just get the regular version now. But it's worth it. I enjoy it.
The one thing I'll say on a gameplay side of it as well, I found it's a game that I can't play tired, and since I've been quite tired all this week, they haven't gelled together well. That's the other reason I haven't played that much of it.
I fell asleep playing and found my guy died on the floor.
So I want to go back and like get some more time with it and actually like play it when I can enjoy it a bit more, because I don't think I've got the best out of the game yet. Also, on another side of things though, I did read a good article on The Gamer, I believe it's thegamer.com, that talked about the kind of slight misuse of symbology in the game and a whiff of cultural appropriation possibly, and that side of things. It was something I was going to argue a bit more against until I actually read the article and made some quite good points. So just encourage people to go and read that and have a look at that,
right,
and go with that. I'm not sure that it's... For me, the only argument that he didn't really bring into the equation that I'd like to introduce is just the one factor that if you're saying that you have to fully do every bit of research into another language to make a game in that culture, then you're restricting indie studios to not have the budget necessarily available to make a game outside of their other culture, whereas big AAA studios can afford to do that. And I think that creates an unbalance that we wouldn't actually want that unbalance in the industry, I don't think. But that's the only thing I'd say as an argument for.
It is a French studio making a Chinese influenced game, and apparently they did have people to come in and kind of talk them through certain aspects of the culture and all this kind of stuff. I think the way that The Gamer underlines it, and I don't know if it's fair completely, but they said that they had people to come in and guide them through the culture and then ignored them. And I don't know if that's completely fair.
No, I don't know if that's necessarily fair. But
regardless, I find the game is enjoyable. I'm a straight white male who's nearly 40 years old from the suburbs of South England, so I don't think I can really comment on such cultural appropriations and things without causing problems in themselves. But yeah, the game is enjoyable. It gave me, even though it's way harder and there are a lot of elements missing, it gave me big kind of vibes of True Crime or Sleeping Dogs.
Yes.
And now it kind of makes me wish for that that whole kung fu gunplay style. I like games that are basically a kung fu movie as a game, and I want more of that because it's something that's criminally underrepresented.
There's two other games that it reminded me of that no one else has mentioned, and I just wanted to kind of mention in the equation as well. That was one influence that I had kind of thought of as well. But the other two, for some reason, it reminds me of Stranglehold a little bit, basically. And
I love Stranglehold.
And The Club, oddly.
Bleezey's looking weird now.
I'm trying to remember if I've played Stranglehold.
I'm
gonna guess no.
I think
John Woo's Stranglehold, basically.
Yeah, John Woo tried to make Hard Boiled the game, and it's one of those things. I think it's one of those ones that it's an old film.
Okay.
It's Chow Yun-fat, is that right?
Yeah. Aren't you glad you had me on?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's Chow Yun-fat, and it's a mixture of kung fu and guns, basically. Gun fu, if you will. It's like the prototypical John Wick of its day. But with the, I think, early adopters of the Xbox 360, I think everyone's tried Stranglehold because it's one of those games that was an early free demo to download off the service. So if you had a 360 and Xbox Live, I'm pretty sure you might have played it.
It had silly, because I did have those two, and I had no money. So if it was free, I probably played it.
It did that Max Payne thing of bullet time diving over tables and shooting people and stuff. But it also did the sniper. Is it Sniper Elite? It did that kind of thing where you could zoom in and shoot a guy in the nuts and it would slow down and follow the bullet into the nuts kind of thing. And so mix those two together, and that's what it was. But you could do mad stuff like jump on a banister and start running up it like that's a normal thing to do. Which I always like I think back in the day it was a Control-Alt-Delete comic where the Chow Yun-fat's character jumps onto a railing to run up, just falls over and breaks his neck, and then all the bad guys are like, did he think he was going to run up that? Like, no one could do that. That's a mad thing to think you can do.
But yeah, also, do you remember Sega's The Club?
What, the multiplayer shooter for the 360
No, it was
as well?
a like arcade driven, like you were going around in circuits, almost like a driving game, first person shooter basically, and you were going around in loops trying to get the right thing by shooting different. And this reminds me of that because you're going through a club a lot of the time, I guess. But
I think they tried to remake that as like a multiplayer shooter for the 360 that could partner with PC, but it played awful and no one tried it.
Oh,
but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Anyway, yeah, Sifu, it's a recommend from me.
Yep.
Which is good because that's on my, again, that was on my ones to watch, and I'm happy that one to watch actually not only came out, but is a good game and might end up, we'll have to see how it is after I've actually finished the game, but it might be on my game of the year. It's probably the first game I played this year to go, that could be up there.
Well, just for the record as well, I just talked about Castle Morihisa last week, and yeah, that is, I should have mentioned last week as well when I was talking about it, that it is out this week. I was talking about it on Nintendo Switch. That is a Game of the Year contender for me, and I think is above Sifu for now, but we shall see if that remains the case. But yeah. But yeah, just to say, that's out and very good.
If only I liked games with card battling mechanics.
Yes, well, hey.
All right, let's have a look at the news for this week because, and this is one we'll gloss over pretty quickly, I think, but there was a PlayStation blog. They put out a tweet going, hey, we're going to give you 7 bits of information on new games and updates to games that have already been announced here on the PlayStation blog. Check out. And I did. And one of them wasn't 15 minutes apart. One of them was like 25. So I wasn't happy about that. I timed this all so it works with my work where I write the agenda at the same time. Damn you, PlayStation. But the big ones were Polyarch. They gave new details on Moss Book 2, which I'm assuming you'll be happy about, Tim, because you were a fan of Moss. Even though I'm assuming your PlayStation VR is packed away.
I mean, you can literally see it behind my head. But yeah, it's reachable. Might have to break it out of the box to actually... might replay the first chapter again as it's been a while. But then, yeah, like get ready for the second chapter as well. That'd be good.
Okay. Master Splinter is coming to the TMNT Shredder's Revenge, which is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade machine type game. It's very inspired by the old arcade machine, which everyone loves. I'm pretty sure of that era. It still looks good. And of course, Master Splinter's in it. If they were going to go, hey, you can play as April O'Neil.
Yeah, we guessed that when they said April. When they actually announced April, we guessed that Splinter. Well, we're saying for next as well. Casey Jones?
Casey Jones, baby.
I reckon he'll be next.
And also, Hello Neighbor, there is going to be a beta on the 7th of April 2022. But yeah, Hello Neighbor 2 is coming to PlayStation 4 and 5. The new games that were announced, you got Samurai Gun 2, Salt and Sacrifice, which is coming to PS5 and PS4 on May the 10th. And Post Void, which is coming to PS4, PS5 spring 2022. And Animal Well, which is coming just to PS5 at some point. If you want more information, go check out the PlayStation blog. They've got full articles up on there. The big one this week, which was very interesting because I thought, you know what, we should really be talking about Nintendo and how they've been doing copyright flags on YouTube and really upsetting people, taking down their music. Even though some of these channels have existed for years, you know, one of these channels puts up Nintendo music and they had thousands upon thousands of their songs just flagged by Nintendo for copyright reasons, which is completely within their own reason to do so. And having those channels pulled and all this kind, I thought we should have some. Oh wait, there was a Nintendo Direct. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about a Nintendo Direct, guys.
I did not watch it.
Good homework done, Bleezey. Well done.
I'm like, I really don't know why you asked me on this week. This is like the least prepared week.
You're the voice of the youth today.
Okay, we don't care about Nintendo.
Right, okay, good.
Anyway, that was Nintendo on Twitter in a nutshell this week. Everyone was livid and then just forgot when a Direct happened. A lot of people really annoyed with this Direct, saying that they didn't get the things they wanted in it. I thought this was a good Direct.
I mean,
you know, there was a lot of stuff in that, and a lot of that seemed to be it seemed to be ports of stuff, or I mean, they put Star Wars Force Unleashed, which normally I'd be excited about and go, yeah, I want to play that on a handheld. But then they went, oh, it's the Wii version.
Yeah. All right,
okay.
then.
I mean,
No need for that.
why don't you go the whole hog and stick the PSP version in there, and while you're at it, spit in my eye? You know, it's not the best version of that game, and it's a game from 2 generations ago. I'm sure you could have put the 360 version on the console, but
it doesn't sound like things are going in the right direction.
Was that a pun, Bleezey? Was that a pun?
Yeah, I wasn't quite. Is it just going to like cut to black?
Yeah.
Like the audio just cuts off mid-sentence now.
Get up, Bleezey.
I thought we just zoom in on your face as you're realizing this is syncing while it goes dum 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 da 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 dum da 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 dum da dum da dum.
I'm proud
Something
of
like that. Okay. Well, you be proud. I'm proud that you're proud. He stares down in the face of adversity.
I'm proud I had something to say.
Yeah. Anyway, there was a lot of ports, a lot of old games coming to the console, but there was a lot of remasters as well, and new titles. And there's got to be something that you like in this massive list lineup. So Live a Live, which is that was a Nintendo Japanese game, which is finally coming to the UK and the US, but it's going to come to the Switch, but it's getting that kind of Octopath Traveler treatment where it's old school 2D sprites on a 3D background. Yeah, it looks really, really cool. But that's coming some point this year.
Also, it's interesting because you said about it never being outside Japan, but I read a little thing about this. It was a kind of Twitter thread that was just, I think, Jason Schreier maybe going into some details about it. But yeah, it's never been released outside Japan, as you said, but also it sounds really interesting in the fact that it seemed like a really ambitious game, especially for like how long ago it was made. It's got like different time periods and different stories told in those time periods that all kind of marry up into one as well. Like, it sounds really interesting, actually. Yeah, so I was intrigued by that.
A bit like Day of the Tentacle.
Yeah.
But not. Yeah. Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, we heard about that already. The release date for that is going to be April the 8th. Tim is excited. Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings, they have been added to Nintendo Switch Online. That's available right now.
Yeah.
So that's the Earthbound is on the SNES, Earthbound Beginnings is on the NES, and everyone is going, oh my god, if we all play these and it shows that Nintendo that we want Mother 3 to happen. It's like, you've been telling them that you want Mother 3 for 20 years. Come on.
I mean, if it's not going to get remade,
you bought them on the 3DS.
Yeah, but it's not going to get remade and redone and things like that in this age, then it possibly never will. So I don't know about you. I don't really remember the games before, and I looked at them and went, I don't really see a reason to play them now. So thanks anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, I understand. It's one of those things. It's like Undertale. And Undertale takes a lot of cues from Earthbound. If you like it, then you're probably mad into it. If you have never heard, if you don't like it, it's probably because you've never heard of it. Or it's just not your type of game. But it's one of those, it's an RPG with a difference kind of thing. There's a lot of charm to it. I remember I played I played Earthbound on the SNES, but the 3DS version of the game. So yeah, if you're really that mad into Mother 3 and want a version of that, there is a very serviceable fan translation which you can play. You know, if you've got a PC, you can play it on the PC. But then there are people that take those ROMs and stick them on cartridges for the SNES and for the Game Boy Advance. So there are ways of playing it if you really, really want to. You don't have to wait for Nintendo. Like, if they're going to drag their heels, go find it somewhere else. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. Unless Nintendo want to sue us, then it's not fine. But for now, it's fine. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which they showed off a new mode, which is Kirby's got a mouthful mode, which I like the idea of. Basically, Kirby's turned into Mario Odyssey, which is good for me because I love Mario Odyssey. But there are a lot of similarities between that game and this one. But instead of Cappy,
not taking that. I don't remember Mario swallowing a car.
No, but he did turn into a T-Rex. So
nothing like a car.
Kind of close. It's
remind you not to lend you my T-Rex.
Instead of just sucking in your regular character and absorbing their powers, there are things that will be too big for Kirby to absorb. So he'll just kind of hold them in his mouth. And one of those things was a car, as we saw. He sucks in a car. The car can be driven, but it's just like a car with Kirby stuck over the top of it. His little legs flapping out the back.
Someone did a great meme of that. That's just you wouldn't inhale a car with a little picture of.
I would.
I did like that. Yeah. I kind of like Kirby games. I have a soft spot for Kirby. Like, I've always preferred Kirby to Mario platformers, but yeah.
Fair enough. That's because they're made for babies.
Yes, that must be
rubbish. Yeah, I've never quite got the appeal of Kirby. I used to play him on the Game Boy when I was a kid, but I've never seen anything to make me go, I need to play Kirby.
But you can suck things into your mouth,
looking at the trailer,
and take on their powers.
Look at a car. Look at a cone. You could be a cone. You want to be a cone? Of course I want to be a cone.
The thing that made me love that, a cone, so you can pierce things. And I'm like, I don't pierce things with cones. What idiot goes around piercing things with cones?
Kirby's a pink thing that absorbs people and then gains their powers.
Isn't that Jigglypuff from Pokemon?
No, that is a different character. Jigglypuff sings at people and puts them to sleep, and then
what's the pink Pokemon that just becomes things? That's
Ditto.
So is Kirby like from Pokemon then? Like
no.
Okay. I'm gonna bail out of this. Like this is, I can already see that this is setting me up to fail. Like I'm gonna back out.
You couldn't eat a Kirby in a Pokemon restaurant, but Kirby could eat you in a Pokemon restaurant. That's
anytime.
Well, anytime.
So what you're saying is no one is safe from Kirby.
No.
Well, the point I was trying to make, big Mario Odyssey vibes, and I am very excited for that. Metroid Dread has added a free update now, which I'm excited about. There is a Dread mode, which is insane.
Yeah.
If you get hit once, you die. That game, how do you get through that game without getting hit? I don't know. But there's a rookie mode, which has excited me because it means I might have a chance of beating the game. Yeah. Splatoon 3, we got a look at the new Salmon Run mode. That's weird music for a Splatoon game trailer, considering the music is like usually the best part of those games, in my humble opinion. But it was very odd, janky music that they used on the trailer. It's the new Salmon Run mode, but it's like Salmon Run Revenge.
It looked like co-op against waves of enemies rather than team-based stuff, no?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a mode they introduced in Splatoon 2. Yeah, I haven't played Splatoon since Splatoon 1, and I really got into it for a hot minute, so maybe I'll pick this up, because there's going to be a story mode and stuff in there, and maybe I'll get into that a bit more. There are remakes of Front Mission and Front Mission 2 on the way. Triangle Strategy, which is the spiritual successor to Octopath Traveler, that has a free demo available now, and much like Octopath Traveler, that progress that you make in the demo will then carry over to the full game if you wish to pick that up afterwards. The big news, in my opinion, Nintendo Switch Sports has been announced, and it's a new version of Wii Sports, and there is not a lot to offer out the gate. There's 3 games from the old Wii Sports games and 3 new games, but the idea is that they're going to add to the game going forward, which I'll assume be free up DLC, much like they did with Mario Golf. I'm excited because I have a Wii up in the attic, I have a Wii U up in the attic, and I keep going, I need to pull the Wii down and place it over Christmas. It's like, yeah, sorry, it stops the pigeons getting in. But just as we were about to break up for Christmas,
in the toilet. I must go to the attic.
No, that's the kitchen sink. I thought,
busy.
you know what? I need to. We should get the Nintendo Wii down. I'm going to say Nintendo Wii now, so you can't make this joke. I'm going to get the Nintendo Wii down so we can play some Wii Sports over Christmas, because I've got a real hankering to play that game. Never did it. Can't be asked to go get it out of the box. So, yeah, making a version on the Switch that I can then just stick in the dock and do that way instead. I'm much more up for that.
You're only going to play bowling and the occasional bit of tennis with it, right? Like, that's what everyone did with Wii Sports. So I don't even know why they bothered making the other sports.
Golf and baseball were more my thing.
Golf could be all right, I guess. Especially, like, I don't entirely trust those Wiimote things, though, for waving stuff around. I'm not sure. Not the Wiimotes, the Joy-Cons. Yeah.
I enjoyed the boxing until my mate put his Wiimote through the TV.
Brilliant. One of those.
Yeah.
Also, they took their sweet-ass time with this game, but yeah.
Yeah, they should have been doing this from the start,
Yeah.
and 1-2 Switch should have been a pack-in game.
Yeah.
But, Nintendo, they like making Nintendo-style decisions at times. Wii Baseball, I remember I pitched the ball and I hit the control down and just heard a crack and pulled out my Nokia and I'd smashed the screen, just completely obliterated it. Had to go pay for it to get it fixed, had it returned, did the same thing about 2 weeks later. Playing baseball, just went crack again. I went, I really got to start putting my phone in my other pocket.
I don't believe this for a second, because Nokias don't break.
Oh, it wasn't. It was the flip phone, not the 3210.
Okay. Yeah.
I wasn't. Mate, how old you?
I think your leg would have shattered before anything else in that situation.
No, that phone was a trooper. I broke that screen 3 or 4 times, I think. 2 of them with Wii Sports. One of them sitting on a bench.
Snake, yeah.
Yeah. No, the other one was I was texting someone outside a pub and some random person just ran up and just knocked it out of my hand.
I genuinely thought you were going to be like, I was texting someone and it broke. I was texting too hard.
It blew up.
The fury of
Well,
my
if you're going
thumbs.
to talk like that, I'm not taking you seriously. Yeah, a bit like that. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, that was it. I threw my shoulder out playing Wii boxing. Yeah,
Nice.
Just imagining you explaining that to the doc.
sports.
It's just like, so how did this happen? Oh, I was boxing. Oh, do you box a lot? Well, occasionally.
I do a wee bit.
To be fair, it was a
I'm semi-professional.
It was a pre-existing injury that I then exacerbated playing Wii Sports. So it wasn't like I was just playing the game too hard and went, I played that game way too hard.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, exactly like that. If you ain't injuring yourself, you ain't trying. Chrono Cross has a remaster coming to the Switch. Not my kind of thing because those games are very in-depth, time sucks, but there are a lot of people that are excited about this. So There you go. I am excited, however. Mario Strikers is coming to the Switch.
Mario Strikers, yes, new Mario Strikers. Give me that.
5-on-5. They've written soccer, but we know what it is. Footing ball, action. Can't
Good
wait.
old footing ball.
Gonna do some Mario. Gonna kick Tim's ass. And also, I think you can set up online teams, leagues essentially, and you can pick a team in a league and have people. So there might be a BigRedBarel team at some point going forward, I think. But yeah, this is one of those games that.
To your Princess Peach.
There was a whole GameCube era of Mario sports games, which kind of they added more of an attitude to the 64 golf and tennis, and basketball and football were the big type of games. And I've always wondered, why don't you just do those again? And now they're finally getting to that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, which is it's a new Musou game from Fire Emblems. I think this is the 3rd version of the Musou game from Fire Warrior, but this is characters from 3 houses added to the game and new stuff in that kind of vein, I would assume.
They said it was a new story, new characters, but yeah.
I've never got into the Musou Fire Emblem games just specifically because I don't really have an interest in Fire Emblem. In the same way I don't really play the Persona ones. I like the Zelda ones. I like the Dynasty Warrior ones. I like the Gundam ones.
I quite like Fire Emblem, but I just haven't played any of the latest iterations. I should possibly correct that.
Now, I'm curious to get your perspective on, Tim, because Mario Kart Deluxe, which that came out on the Switch, and as we know, this was a Wii U game. There was a bunch of DLC announced, and then they released that on the Wii U. And then when it came to the Switch as a launch title, they went all that DLC included.
Yeah.
And I really thought we'd get updates to Mario Kart Deluxe, be that characters or tracks, and we've had nothing. And now there have been rumblings on what the new Mario Kart is going to be, which seems more of a Smash Brothers kart rather than a Mario Kart, if the rumors are true. and people thought we'd get that announced for this Nintendo Direct, but we didn't. We got a new kind of season pass, which will give you access to 48 new tracks through this paid DLC, which will last from, I think it's next month, all the way through to 2023.
Yeah.
So it's $25 in the US. I don't know what that is in the UK. Okay, that's not bad. Or if you've got the major version of the Switch Online subscription,
no one in the
in
world does. So, maybe two people, but
I was interested in getting it. But when they went, and you get Happy Home Designer or whatever the hell it was for the new Animal Crossing expansion, I went, well, I'm not going to get any use of that, and I don't see it worth it just for 64 games. Yeah. And then they went, oh, this is included the Mario Kart. So, now you're throwing some stuff in more my language. Maybe I will dip into this online subscription. But what are you thinking, Tim? Because obviously I think it's a way of extending out the game until the point of the next Mario Kart. The online community has had a whole thing of, well, you should be making a new game and not making new tracks. And for all you know, they might have outsourced these tracks while they're working on a new game. Need new time. Bide it. You don't know what's happening. I like this idea.
Yeah, I was a little bit turned my nose up a bit first when they kind of first announced it, but I kind of come around to it probably being the better idea. Like, I don't think that the Switch is going to I don't think the development of a new game now is going to particularly show off anything that the Switch could do. There might be some things that we'd have on the new OLED Switch that most people would miss out on unless you've got an OLED Switch, so there's not much point in making something for just that. And I don't think the base level Switch is going to have any programming differences that a game over and above Mario Kart 8 a new game would bring anything else to the table, unless you are introducing other mechanics that you couldn't do into this game. But I don't think there's any major plans for that.
Don't forget that the OLED Switch is literally just an OLED screen and a battery upgrade.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything new.
I mean, like graphical bells and whistles, you might get something looking better, slightly better on the OLED screen, but most gamers aren't going to have that advantage. So there's no point in programming for that at the moment, I don't think. And I don't think there's any other benefit of developing another piece of software now. And like you say, it's probably better if they do have like a main team that's working on things to be working for the next piece of hardware, so you can get a Mario Kart out early with that hardware, as they've proved that's a good idea. Part of the thing that proves that a good idea is Mario Kart 8 is one of the best-selling video games of this generation, possibly of all time. And a lot of people own Mario Kart 8, so developing DLC for that seems like a sensible business decision. And anyone that does have access to that game, I'd much rather pay £22.49 for access to all like 48 tracks, which sounds like quite a lot of tracks, over and above paying £70 for 48 tracks with a couple of bells and whistles to justify a number 9 going on there as well. Like, that's okay with me. I think that works. And like you say, it's not a bad price. I think 48 tracks for $22.49, that'll keep me more engaged with Mario Kart 8, which I haven't played for a while. And then I can see that keeping me engaged every time new tracks come out as well. So, yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing overall.
Good. Then it's a good thing. Stop moaning. I'm bloody sick of it. Like, give them a chance. And also, don't go, oh, well, they're all old games. They're all old tracks.
They're all
like
good.
They haven't put the effort in. It's like, yeah, they're old tracks. It doesn't mean they've just drag and dropped a track from the mobile version of Mario Kart
or
Mario Kart on the SNES. You know, that's not how it works. Effort's been put into this. It might have been outsourced, but I mean, it might be internal. We don't know, but it might have been outsourced. We don't know.
Yeah.
My theory is it has probably been put with an external team or a team B or something while team A works on the new version of the game, which I'm pretty sure at this point, because they've gone, this is running through to 2023, the next Mario Kart is not a Mario Kart for Switch. The next Mario Kart is for whatever the next handheld / console is. But we'll have to see going forward. Xenoblade Chronicles got announced. It's coming out in September 2022. This is the big thing that they announced for the stream, which I understand is a big deal. However, if you have no interest in Xenoblade Chronicles at all as a series, then you're not going to get anything from this. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people. Tim is one of those people. Bleezey's nodding his head. I'm sure he's one of these people too. There's no Master Chief in this game. There's no point in talking about it. But I'm excited if you're excited. I'm excited for you if you're excited, dear listener.
To be fair, I thought Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was already out, but hey, I thought that would be released a while ago.
No, I think it was the first one came out, then they re-released it on a different system, then they made 2, and then they re-released 2 for the Switch, and now they made 3. If I have that right. I might not.
But you could have told me that they released that one and I would have believed you, but yeah.
Bleezey, you're a big Call of Duty fan.
Am I? Yes.
You like your Call of Duties, if I remember rightly.
I am aware.
But you're also an Xbox gamer, so you probably weren't too bothered about the acquisition of Activision Blizzard from Microsoft, thinking that, oh no, they're going to take it away on the PlayStation.
I never thought they would. It doesn't make sense business-wise for me.
Some might argue that some of the other games that are going single platform aren't really worth doing.
I actually ended up in a debate with someone about this, and single-player games do make sense for exclusivity, but with stuff like crossplay, I don't understand a multiplayer exclusive at all. It just doesn't make sense to me. You'd be killing off your player base, and no one is going to go, I will buy an entirely new console for one multiplayer game. Okay.
I mean, I have a lot of arguments as to why they shouldn't pull games that existed on previous platforms off those platforms.
I just mean, just in general going forward, going on a very bare bones approach. I just think it's a crappy
thing to do.
Oh yeah, like you take that aside, I just don't think it makes much business sense. The amount of people you would gain would be a fraction of what you would have if you just continued doing it on PlayStation, and also your player base would reduce, and it just doesn't make sense.
Anywho, so the whole thing we did hear initially, the whole kind of reporting was that they're under contract to release the next 3 titles on PlayStation, or the next 3 years worth, or something like that, on PlayStation. But past that point, then they're out of contract. It's likely that they'll go to be an Xbox exclusive type thing. However, it looks like there is going to, I mean, there's been a couple of pieces published over this, but the President Brad Smith, he's addressed concerns that popular games will no longer be available on competing consoles, and has said, and I quote, "To be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on PlayStation through the terms of any existing agreement with Activision. And we have committed to Sony that we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future, so that Sony fans can enjoy the games that they love." There's also been following comments on from this to suggest that they're looking to not just bring those things to PlayStation, but also they're looking for the likes of Call of Duty in some format to make its way to Nintendo platforms, which on one hand is a good thing. You know, people on Nintendo, if that's their only console, they might want to play a Call of Duty game, can't play a Call of Duty game. However, on the bad side, Nintendo do lean heavily into the whole cloud platforming stuff, and that really hasn't worked out in their favor, I don't think. For instance, they've just released all the Kingdom Hearts games and on the Switch, and I went, "Oh, on Switch?" And they went, "On cloud platformer." Nope, not touching it. That's silly. But the other thing as well, remember Call of Duty on the Wii? No one does.
Is that something in your attic as well?
Probably. I should go have a look. There was a very bad version of Call of Duty on the. There was a couple of bad versions, either that ports or specific like motion control type downgraded versions of Call of Duty that weren't good on the Nintendo Wii. So hopefully we don't end up in that era again. Maybe they'll do something that is specific to Nintendo. That would be nice. We'll see what happens going forward. And then another one that I need your opinion on, Bleezey, because more than 100,000 people have signed a petition for they want refunds. It's more than that. What is it now?
Hold on.
Live update.
127,000 exactly.
So at the point of recording,
127,001.
120,002 players of Battlefield 2042 have signed a petition saying they want their goddamn money back.
It's not going to help. I don't think it will lead to anything, but it's nice to feel like we have a say.
You say that. The last time EA came under scrutiny of a petition that they caved to was Mass Effect 3, where they didn't like the ending of Mass Effect 3 and a third option had to be patched in.
The problem is how the petition is phrased. They're saying if they get over 50,000 or 75,000, they're going to pursue legal action, and people have already looked into that and have said you don't have a case. So I don't know where it goes from there. I'm sure it might get EA's attention, and that would be great. And that's, why I signed but I don't believe anyone's going to get a refund from this.
Okay. So this is, you're playing, or you have played Battlefield 2042,
yes.
And you didn't pay bargain bin price. It's 16 quid at the minute. You did not pay that.
I paid.
You paid full
price on 2 consoles.
Why 2?
Yeah.
I bought it on PS5 and then I no longer had a PS5, so I bought it on Xbox. And because of PlayStation's refund policy, I don't get a refund.
Because you've played it?
Because I had opened it on PS5.
Right.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I played the beta on PS5, but then I lost access to my PS5 before launch. Well, that shouldn't count.
But
the beta counted as
did you?
Your pre-order.
Oh, did you only get access to the beta because of the pre-order bonus and they thought you were taking the mickey?
Yes.
Right.
Well, because I pre-ordered, back in the day, I pre-ordered Hitman, the first of the reboot of Hitman. I pre-ordered that and got access to the demo. Played through
and
the demo
haircut.
and went, yeah, I can wait for this. got the refund, so I don't see what the issue is.
I think because one of the pre-order bonuses was early access to the beta, and I technically used that early access. I have been fighting with PlayStation on it for the last couple months.
Yeah, I would. That's absolutely atrocious.
But yeah, in terms of Xbox, I'm not actually searching for a refund. I genuinely believe eventually that game will be good as long as they don't pull an Anthem and just abandon it. Like, for example, I really dislike Battlefield 5. Like, I didn't play Battlefield 5 for the first year, and they turned that around, and honestly, it's a very solid game now. It's now the Battlefield that I'm playing instead of 2042.
Okay.
I do think...
Have they fixed Hardline yet?
Hardline was perfect when it came out. I may be one of about 15 people in this world that actually enjoyed Hardline. It was great. I will die on this hill. Come at me, bro.
Do you know what? I could see a class action lawsuit on the. I don't know if you get much out of it, but on the same lines as when what was it? Alien Colonial Marines came out, and a lot of people pre-ordered that game. A lot of people bought that game, bought special editions of that game, and
Dead
they weren't
Island
happy because the version that was shown off. I don't know if that was in class action. That got fixed pretty sharpish though. Alien Colonial Marines still has problems to this day.
But Dead Island wasn't it people complaining that the trailer wasn't the same as the end product, basically, I think was the complaint there.
Oh yeah, they did. But that was they did gameplay trailers after the pre-rendered cutscene trailer thing that they did, the teaser trailer. This was the Alien thing was they showed off a trailer as gameplay, and it wasn't. It was all pre-rendered kind of it was much like they did with Killzone something or other.
But I think the main distinction in a lot of these are especially the Dead Island one and Cyberpunk. Like Cyberpunk, it was actually a faulty product. Like it did not run how it was supposed to. Battlefield technically runs. Like if you strip down everything, the game does run. You might struggle to find a player base nowadays, but like the game functions as advertised. If you disagree with the specialist system, or you disagree with the fact that they don't have legacy features such as a scoreboard and VoIP, like that is not that is not a reason for a lawsuit because you disagree with their game design.
Right.
And this is why I don't believe they have a legal precedent.
I could not believe that when I saw it. They put like a little roadmap out on Twitter
Oh my
of
God.
the things that they need to add, and everyone was just like, scoreboard!
Honestly, like, so the thing is, there is a scoreboard in there. It's just fans aren't happy because you can't see where you are within your team, or like you can still see your amount of kills, your amount of deaths,
Can't
your
see
amount
score.
of revives. But like, yeah, it's one of those, it seems like a lot of design decisions on Battlefield 2042 seem to be from they want to reduce toxicity. So, you know, if you've got 128 players, you don't want to be the person who's 128th out of everyone in the match. You don't want to see that. So they've tried to hide it. And then at the end, they'll be like, oh, your squad came 6th out of 32 or whatever. However, I don't agree with that because it doesn't really reduce it at all. Because at the end of the screen, at the end of the game, you'd still see squad came 32 out of 32, and then if you're there with your 1 kill and 17 deaths, Coleman, everyone's still going to know it's you. But like, I feel like a lot of decisions were
Don't
made.
just come in the show and pick on Coleman, eh?
I mean, this is the first time I've managed to fight back. There's been like, what, 10 episodes of relentless mocking. This is the one platform I have.
The stand starts now.
Like I said, I just think a lot of the design decisions were a futile and not well thought out plan to reduce toxicity.
I mean, if people are running around shooting each other with guns, like, I don't think the scoreboard is going to add to the toxicity level. Like, I mean, like...
Well, I think the last couple Battlefields from Battlefield 1 onwards has tried to become a little bit more welcoming to new players, and I think this is just an extended step of that, where they want to add that in. Like, same with the specialists being able to use any weapon at all. Like, usually your class system, you'd be locked in, so if you're playing like medic, you'd have SMGs and maybe a shotgun available to you, but now it's like you can use whatever gun you want because they want to make it more welcoming to those new players.
Right.
Which, you know, is like with any game.
Yeah.
It's divisive. But yeah, I just don't think a lot of the design decisions have been particularly well thought out, and because of that, the game has lost its like identity along the way. And that's why I am still hopeful that they can. I don't believe it's gone so far that they can't reclaim it, but I think it would take a lot of work. And yeah, that's another reason why I don't believe this petition is going to get that far, because it's more of this is now straying into my opinion differs to what Dice's was.
Yeah.
Rather than you actually like missold me a product. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's maybe the smartest sentence I've ever said.
all I know from my perspective is we were speaking about, and we had you in on the E3 show last year, and one of the big things we were talking about was Battlefield. They showed it off, and I hadn't looked into Battlefield because I don't really have any affiliation with Battlefield.
Oh my
or Call
God,
of
I'm
Duty
sure
or
some
any
of those
kind
comments
games.
have aged like milk.
But then we saw the trailer and went, that's convinced me. Like, I think I'm going to buy a Battlefield game. I think I'm going to day one buy a Battlefield game and try getting, even if it is just multiplayer only. To be damned, I'm going to get into this. And it came out and was absolutely just panned for glitches and problems with the game. And if I had spent, was it a £70 release?
That was for the standard.
If I had paid £70 for the standard, I mean, I don't want to pay £70 for the first party games. If I paid £70 for a game that I felt was broken, I'd be livid.
Yeah, I paid more than that. Yeah, like
How
my
much
early
more,
access,
Bleezey?
I believe it was 100 for both consoles.
So you paid £200 to not play Battlefield, and you're hopeful, still confident that you will get some return on that
I paid
investment.
I paid £200 to wait a year to play Battlefield.
Yeesh.
I am.
You don't get
as
to
much as I'm joking,
criticise
I am
my
very heavily
financial
invested in
investment
this.
decisions on the show again, just so you know.
Much like Dying Light 2, when I pick this up in a bargain bin and it's all been fixed at that point, I'll let you know how satisfying it was. But until... Are you without a PlayStation then? So you have it on the PlayStation but no means to play it?
Oh.
Oh,
I mean,
feel bad now.
I have a PlayStation 4. It's just not plugged in because I haven't really returned to PlayStation since
It's
the
old
PlayStation 5.
now.
So
Old
here's what we'll do.
news.
Yeah,
On the
don't
scrap
bother. So what we'll do, we'll sign you in on my PlayStation. We'll mark that as your main PlayStation, and then I'll play it for you. That sound
Honestly, if you want to give it a go, I'm fully up for that.
I'm not sure
Okay,
you've
wait,
sold
no,
the
it's not
game that
after
well. Yeah.
If Sony turns around and they're like, "No, you've logged in the last week to
Oh,
play
yeah,
it.
that was-
Your refund request is void again," I'll be like, "Ah, damn it! I didn't think this through."
That will screw your refund request up. I'll chuck you 20 quid though. It'll be fine.
To be fair, that might be more than I'll get for it.
That's what you got to do. You got to go back and go, look, right, 80. Give me £80 refund.
To be fair,
70.
I would take 50. Like,
Let's go half.
I'm just
see me
looking to
halfway.
recover anything.
Ouch. Right, couple of last bits, and we're going to gloss over these quick, but I've got to mention it because Tim's laughing already inside his head.
And on the
Stupid
outside of my
greyhead.
head.
Platinum Games, they want to make Scalebound. They were making Scalebound. If you remember, it was my one to watch. It was a game I was excited about, and then the first day of the new year, they cancelled it, and I've been livid ever since. And I've had therapy. I've got over this. We've gone through rumors when they're like, oh, they're going to make it on the Switch now. No, they're not going to make it on the flipping Switch. But it got cancelled back in 2017. Since that point, I have been mocked mercilessly. I bought an Xbox One for this game, and then they cancelled it. You know, that's how deep.
But you did
the
get to plug
hatred
your
goes.
TV into your Xbox One and have your Xbox One tell you what's on TV. So...
No, I got to plug my Wii U into my Xbox One because I only had 2 HDMI outputs on my TV. So that's what that was used for.
Yeah, I bought an Xbox One for a game called Titanfall, and I don't know if you remember, but that game actually released.
that game was good.
Yep.
Pile on.
In fact, no, I bought my Xbox One specifically for 2 titles.
Mm-hmm.
One was Scalebound and one was Crackdown.
Sorry.
Wait.
Crackdown
did that
3.
ever come out?
Crackdown 3.
Yeah, it came out.
Yeah.
It came out
About
right
2
on the
years
tail
later,
end of the Xbox One, but they launched it on Game Pass. So I and at that point I didn't have that Xbox One anymore. Ended up picking one up for like 60 quid. I could have saved myself so much money if I just didn't.
Would you say you
bother.
would have saved about £200 worth? Because I know that feeling.
What was it? Xbox
No,
One,
a bit more,
£280,
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it was. Something like that. Yeah. Anywho, I think I halved it. I can't remember. Anywho, Scalebound, so from Platinum Games, Hideki Kiyama, he has put out the call and he's put out the plea while he's in interviews and gone, look, Phil Spencer, please talk to me. Let's make Scalebound. I don't want to do it. We don't want Platinum Games to do this as an indie thing. We don't want to take the existing work and do something with it. We want to do this on Xbox. We want to do this first party. Come on, Phil, get in contact. Let's make a Scalebound. I'm not getting my flipping hopes up. You've done this before. You burnt me. I've had enough. Scalebound.
You're not hitching your wagon to that trail again. No.
No.
That was
I'm
a mixed
fine.
metaphor.
The other thing is the new Grand Theft Auto has been announced as to be in the works. In other news, the sky is blue, grass is green, water is wet.
Yeah, but have you heard about those GTA 7 rumours?
I have, but I have I have heard about GTA Online coming out next month on the PS5, and I'm excited because I've been saving up all my free Grand Theft Auto bucks ready for online to be on the PS5. I've got like $200 million burning a hole in my pocket Dr. Dre's are waiting for me. I'm going to jump into that game. I'm going to have some fun.
I've done the same. I don't have a PS5 for when it
And
launches.
he's got no PS5 to play it on. Brilliant.
I've just got a nice wallet on GTA Online.
Bleezey,
Right. I think Dan's first in queue, but we'll try find you a PS5,
I have an idea, Bleezey. Buy a
I can't afford it.
PS5!
I spent all my money on Battlefield. I spent my savings on Battlefield.
Right, you're doing video games the wrong way around.
What? No, you buy the game and then you figure out how you're going to play it down the line.
I mean, it's a shame that they haven't allowed you to transfer your saves over to other platforms. That used to be an option. They don't allow you to do that anymore because that's something that would really benefit from you being able to play on the on the Xbox. Maybe you were a PS4 player, you got a Series X. It'd be good to carry that over to the Series X. Maybe you're on a PC, which makes sense because that game plays the best on the PC right now. So they gave it away for free on Epic Games, and I went, brilliant, can't wait. Went through all the intro tutorial and all that kind of stuff, got to the point of getting online, and then found out that they'd removed online transfer saves because of hacking.
Oh, I was sure it did.
It used to. But what happened was people would get a chipped PS3 or Xbox 360 and then transfer their saves over to the PS4 or the Xbox One or the PC.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. I went from 360 to Xbox One, and then eventually when I started on PS4, I had to start all over again. And that's what I've done.
PS3 to PS4, and now I'm stuck there.
I mean, in theory, I can log into the PS4 anytime I want to play that, but
in theory, but it plays like arse.
It's I don't want to spend a week and a half waiting for it to load. Now that I've experienced the magic of PS5 where, it'll load in about 6 minutes rather than, weeks.
Now I've played, the PS, I'm playing stuff on the PC and then playing stuff on the PS5. It's really spoilt me because now when I go to play a 30 frames a second game, I feel ill. It sets off my travel sickness. So now I've acclimatized to something new and gone, I can't play older games. I talked about Far Cry 5 being in 30, chugging a bit and going, I can't play this. It barely plays. How could anyone play this game? Even though it was a game I played and put many hours into. It's like, how could anyone play this? It's it's the same problem with Grand Theft Auto. I literally go in, I get my money, I log back out, and that's how you
can just do it on the app. That's what I've been doing.
No, because you get Twitch Prime money and you get the DLC money. To get the Twitch Prime money, you've got to log in each time.
I don't have Twitch Prime, so that's why.
There you go.
I've not bothered to plug in the PlayStation. Maybe I'll do it. And then, maybe we can play at some point. Just give me a couple days in advance. I'll turn on the PS4. We'll look at the clouds. And then maybe there's some kind of crossplay between PS4 and PS5. I doubt it. They didn't do it with PS3 and PS4, so we'll have to see then buy forever.
We're gonna have to start an appeal to get Bleezey a PS5.
One's gonna mysteriously fall off the back of a lorry.
Maybe they'll give us cross-save back. Who knows? We'll see what happens. And also, that was the other thing. The GTA Online is going to be a standalone app rather than part of GTA 5 on other platforms. So you can just boot it up straight into the game. You don't have to do that thing where you play through the snow level and you got to do a bit as Franklin and you got to do a bit and then drive through the window of the car dealership. And now you can play online. None of that anymore. You can just go straight into it. Yes, they did. They made a separate app for that. So that makes sense.
That was good. I like that.
Anywho, that is all the news we have time for this week. But before we get out of here, Tim wants to talk to you about a charity shout-out that he's got in mind.
So each week we're trying to shine a light on a different charity thing, revolving things around. Although I would point out that there's been a couple of people raising quite a bit of money for Geek Out for Gosh in the last couple of weeks as well. So just giving a shouting out for a couple of people doing that. I'll actually dig out some names next week so I can actually shout those out. But yeah, there's been some good fundraising going on there. Another thing that we just wanted to shine a bit of a light on is a thing called Safe in Our World. It is a charity bundle of games. It is aiming to shine a positive light in the post-festive season. The charity bundle will support the continued efforts towards destigmatizing mental health within the games industry and for players. The bundle is in partnership with Fanatical, who are, is an upcoming charity bundle of 13 games and 2 DLCs, with all the proceeds going towards further supporting the charity's endeavours. Available exclusively via the dedicated partner Fanatical, I believe it is. Yep, the bundle is worth over $250 and will be available to purchase on February the 4th, 2022. So it has actually came out last week. We tried to sneak it in last week, but we ran out of time. But yeah,
we ran out of time.
That is available now. Go and support that if you can. There's a collection of cool games in there, some stuff that we've talked about on the show before, I think, as well. And yeah, if you can support that goes to a worthy cause doing some good work. So please go and support them where you can.
Yeah, you can find them on safeinourworld.org. They do have a section specifically for the charity bundle that you can find on there. Or you could just Google Charity Spotlight, Safe in Our World Charity Bundle. It's a lot to Google. Probably just go on the website. Who knows? So
it's Safe in Our World.
Also, I don't want to tread on another charity's toes, but we did get a suggestion from Spiky Chris.
Okay.
The one that we do tend to look at, Humble Bundle. They always do really good bundles of games, and sometimes you forget that there's a charity attached to that. The whole reason for doing a bundle. But the current one, I wanted to mention on the name alone, and it is mostly like shooters and survival games and stuff. So you got your World War Z, Aftermath, you got your Payday 2. You got your Dead Till Dawn, like really cool stuff. But there is a bundle on Humble Bundle at the moment, which raises money for cancer research, which is something that we all like raising money for. But the reason I wanted to mention it is because the name is Cancer. So that is a pretty good name for a bundle.
Yes.
So yeah, check either of those out. Safe in Our World, Humble and Bundle. Those are good places to find stuff to pick up. Bundles, money. Play less money for worth of game and get stuff in return. I always like that. It's a good concept. It's one that benefits everyone. No questions this week. We did get a request, actually, for Dan, but he's not on the recording.
A request for Dan. That was the only request that they had Dan, and we failed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, Chorus the Gamer requested that Dan does the bird dance, and I don't know what the bird dance is.
Is that like the chicken one?
Is that like the Is it a bit of that?
If so,
I just got so many
Coleman is your fill-in man.
Holiday camp
for this
nightmares. Week. Yeah, I guess so.
Please explain further, and we'll make sure Dan gets to it next week.
Is it like Everybody's Heard About the Birds?
Could be that one.
Is it like that?
Could
be. That's going to be stuck in my head.
Hold the chicken in the air. Good. If you guys aren't too old, too young for that
the
one.
Spitting Image song.
Yeah.
Oh, chicken in the air. Yeah, it's okay. I'm technically too young, but they kept playing it in like community centre discos when I was a kid because the DJ was old. Anyway. No actual questions this week, but we do want to say if you have enjoyed the show and you wish to get in contact with us, you can find us on BigRedBarel.com, and while you're there is a link to our Discord. We do have chats on that Discord, and we do ask for you to put your questions on that there Discord and suggestions of games and all that kind of stuff, feedback maybe. We do look at that Discord. We do take things on board, and we do reply. We do put things into action. For instance, on this podcast, we do things like we've added in chapters. We've chapter selection. So if you went to the show notes, you could go, oh, I don't really care about Sifu because everyone's talking about Sifu. I want to hear about Battlefields and Bleezey's thoughts on it. I'm going to jump forward to Battlefield. It lets you do that.
Click that.
They're all suggestions we've had from listeners, and those are the reasons that we put this stuff into action. So let us know if that's the case. If you might want someone on the show. You might want to hear more of something. We will pay attention to it, so let us know. Also, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/BigRedBarel, twitter.com@BigRedBarel, and links to all those types of things, all those social media and the website itself, you can find on the show notes of this here episode. So whatever app you're using to listen to, you might be on Apple Podcasts, you might be on Podcast Addict, Podchaser, any of those types of things. Just have a look, scroll down, go in your show notes, and there are links to everything that we've spoken about, including the charities that we've spoken about as well. So that's a good way to... we should probably mention that when we talk about the charity spotlight. It'd be a handy thing. Yeah. Anywho, Bleezey, thank you for jumping in and being our knight in shimmering armour.
No worries.
Good. It's always good to have you on the show. We love you.
Oh,
No?
well, that's sweet.
Tim doesn't. Tim finds his mortal enemy.
Okay.
But yeah.
It seemed too good to be true.
Bleezey.
And Dan clearly has a problem with you because he always disappears when you're on the show.
Coleman likes bullying you, but I kind of love you too, Bleezey. You're good. You're good peoples.
Thank you.
I haven't bullied you in ages. What are you talking about?
Not
since I was the number one Halo fanboy of
that was last time I was
It was
on.
literally the last time he was on.
But also,
And throughout the whole of this show.
That was like last year, Bleezey. Get over it.
Dan is the king of bullying me just because he doesn't turn up, and it really hurts.
Oh.
No, Dan is the king of bullying
wasn't
you
there.
because he will take the things that I've said on the show, and then he will repeat them to you about 6 months later when he finally talks to you, where the joke is dead, and he's there going, "Oh, tell us about the pigeon, Bleezey," and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my god, dude, I forgot about that.
Oh, you're so 2000 late.
That Destiny raid was so painful. It was 6 hours of that.
But anyway, jump on anytime, Bleezey. We love having you on the show, and I'm sure the listeners love hearing from you as well, except for Spiky Chris, because he vetoes you being on the show for some reason. He never understood this.
He is my Battlefield rival. I jumped in a game and I was just like, "Oh, Chris is playing. Like, let's have a go." And then he came top of the leaderboard. I did not, and I lost as number one Battlefield player.
Are you saying that you didn't get good scrub?
I did not get good. See, this is the downside of a scoreboard. If only Chris played Battlefield 2042, then I can argue I'm better than him.
We'll have to do some Xbox gaming at some point. But yes, thank you for jumping on. This has been episode 477 of BRB UK. We'll be back next week for 478, hopefully with a Dan in tow, if he finally gets out of that forest where, once again, I will remind you, he is looking for jazz mags. If you don't know what that is, you're younger.
Magazines
you're
about
it's
jazz
fine.
music.
It's fine. Exactly that.
Okay.
Bongo mags is another word.
Not those sort of bongos.
For this week, I have been Coleman.
I might have been Tim, maybe.
And I've been Josh.
And you're not Josh, you're Bleezey.
Yeah, no, I
Who the
sounded
hell is
really
Josh?
unsure about
Who the f*** is this? And until next week, dear listeners, thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week. Goodbye.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.
So it sees the ball, goes, "Oh,
Yeah.
cripes, it's a ball. I better go get small." And is it because it wants to go in the ball or because it's making itself smaller to make itself a smaller target for the ball?
It wants to go in the ball because it's comfortable in the ball.